Welcome, gamers, to the GAU Gamer Summit, where the greatest minds in Boston right now talk about video games. I am your host, Eric Rickety Beans Urbino, and I am joined by two very esteemed guests tonight. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Frank Duran, head of video at GAU Studios and host of Real Books Don't Have Batman podcast.
How you guys doing? I'm Adrian Brown, a.k.a. Beast, on PS4. If you guys want to play me on FIFA, feel free to catch me anytime, anywhere. I'm ready to throw down.
He probably will beat you.
Yeah, I'm pretty decent.
He's
I'm not
pretty good at
I'm
FIFA.
pretty decent, guys. Don't try to.
Don't hype it up.
Put me on the spot. Anyways, get
Well,
going.
I am very glad to have these two guests tonight because we are talking about Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Yep, the newest Call of Duty game was introduced this weekend after it leaked and then it finally came out. We got Kevin Spacey playing some type of PMC corporation manager, head CEO, and he's talking about how democracy doesn't work and he's reinstituting some law. Let's just, I really want to just get down to this. It doesn't really matter with that. I mean, maybe it does in your opinion, but what is going to get us to play Call of Duty again? Like, we just got Ghosts. We're getting these games every year. What will really take for Call of Duty Advanced Warfare to make it into our consoles this November?
Now, I just want to say off the bat, I don't like the Call of Duty series since 2. Because, I don't play because it's just the same shooter every time. I'm just kind of like, eh. So when they said Advanced Warfare, I was kind of excited. I was like, look, they're going to do something different. But I get a little bit of deja vu from Battlefield 248. That's what I immediately think of is that the Battlefield franchise doing the same thing, being like, well, we've done Modern Warfare. What do we do next?
I mean,
the future.
There's so much to do, first off. I play Call of Duty a lot. I'm not the best Call of Duty player, but I play it for the quick action. It makes to get that kind of realistic feel to it. I mean, I think it's the only game that does, to some extent, provide a bit of over-exaggeration when you're killing people, but at the same time give you that feel that, hey, I can go out there and shoot people too. Learn, But to some degree, I do hear what you're saying, but I think that, what they're doing now, at least with the what's the company called that they've taken over?
Well, so Sledgehammer Games is now working on this iteration of Call of Duty, where in the past it was Infinity Ward or Treyarch.
So that's 3 companies that are essentially working on one game. And that plan right there is
genius.
It's just amazing. Yeah.
It's great.
That means they're getting essentially 3 different styles of Call of Duty every year.
Very
and they
well
all have
put.
3 years to essentially put it together, right?
So it's just factory.
So
it's just going to be
just
like
smart.
boom, boom, boom.
Just to see how modern warfare in the common age is evolving, I think what they're doing is just trying to tap into that. And if you can see with the new one that they just came out with, they're talking on something that's been spoken about in the past, but now I guess it's becoming more relevant and more common because, more people are getting paid outside of the military instead of in the military, which makes sense. But so I think that this is an interesting way of doing it, but I want to see exactly what is their spin going to be on this. This is going to be an interesting way to spin on it.
So that's the thing. We're looking at spin-wise. We saw some really cool anti-gravity suits where you can jump super high.
Exosuits.
We've seen hover bikes. We've seen Kevin Spacey, and we know that the main character is going to be voiced by Troy Baker, which is he played Booker, he played Joel in Last of Us.
And he was the Joker in the Arkham Origin game.
Oh, wow.
Troy Baker has a huge pass of credibility behind himself. I think Kevin Spacey alone being on this game says something about what they're trying to do. And I think usually you look at a Call of Duty game and you're like, I don't care about the story. I just want to play the multiplayer. I want to shoot people. And I think they're really looking at this from a point where Modern Warfare was about a story. And the multiplayer was just a hit out of the park. I think they're trying to harken back to that. We're going to have a lot of fun with that single player. But here's the thing. It better tie in with that multiplayer.
Yeah.
We have seen in the past, like in Black Ops, we've been riding a horse during the single player and flying military jets, and then you get none of that in the multiplayer. So what they really need to do is bring those exosuits, bring those hover bikes, hell, even bring like a Jeep or 2 into the Modern Warfare or Advanced Warfare online space, and now you got yourself a stew cooking.
Absolutely, because they need to take that step because everyone's still going to be playing those old games. Everyone's going to be playing Black Ops 2 still. Everyone's going to be still playing Ghosts. Everyone's going to be playing the last year's version still because there's still going to be a community there. So they need to build the community fast, and doing something completely different in the way of not only aesthetics but in gameplay could really bring people in.
Exactly.
Yeah, but if you're going to add in, are you guys actually thinking that they should man these hover bikes or these cars or these tanks, kind of like they would do in Battlefield 4
Or
The game-
Halo or
the
anything
game-
like that.
True. I mean,
Now, you make a good point. I would not say that Call of Duty should abandon its formula completely and put in vehicles. But at the same time, I wouldn't say that they shouldn't dare to do something like that. And I think optimistically, I would hope that they try to dare to add the exosuits to multiplayer. That way, everybody's wearing an exosuit, and you kind of got this Titanfall meets Call of Duty. Like, as long as they dare to do something,
I want that
I'm
scale
okay.
in multiplayer because this seems like a huge scaled up single player. I mean, Kevin Spacey, Troy Baker, that's a lot of money first off just for voice acting, and then they're throwing a ton of money at everything else. They're saying that there is a rideable vehicle called a pit bull, which is based on a real-world mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicle.
It's what they show in the trailer, and we all know that Call of Duty trailers are showing what's in the single player.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're showing their set pieces. They're showing what really sets their game apart. And I'm not denying that the Advanced Warfare story is going to be awesome and a hell of
that
a
story
ride.
seems-
It's
Yeah.
going to be like
Seems
Michael
crazy.
Bay, just like, okay, I'm in it for the fun. But the reason Call of Duty has length and has a length in this community
Multiplayer.
is multiplayer.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
if they really capitalize on that, then we have ourselves a gem,
Well, do you find that multiplayer can sometimes be redundant in the sense that you're constantly doing the same thing over and over?
What-
So how does it become exciting? I mean, like, this is a factor that we constantly face all the time, but at the same time, we still find people stuck in this cycle.
They just keep playing.
Well, it's true, yeah. So
I mean, I'm just wondering, is there any way
apples
that
and
we can incorporate maybe co-op multiplayer missions where, I mean, I know this probably hasn't something we've been speaking about, but just to kind of take multiplayer to the next level.
that's, you know what, you make a great point, because what really would set apart a Call of Duty is a new game mode.
Yeah.
We've had our co-op, but really, what if we had, objective based game modes a la Battlefield, but a little more
Sort of like
intense?
the
What
Infinity
if-
mode in Halo 4.
Yeah, it's
Sort
like
of.
it's like give each team a purpose. Grand Theft Auto did it pretty well with their capture and raid modes, where you feel like you're actually making a contribution to a larger scheme than just shooting people. And that's a good point. If we could have a story kind of online,
Yeah.
you could have yourselves something
Well,
cool.
that's the thing, because I mean, I think Titanfall did that with its new patch, right? They created a campaign mode, kind of
In
some
a
type of
way
deal,
that people
but not
would
really,
hope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but not really what it really is. So I'm just wondering. I know a lot of Call of Duty fans are going to argue and say there are different diversities to the game. There's demolition or and so
Yeah,
on,
domination,
domination,
capture the
There's
flag.
so
There's
many.
tons of
Capture the
different.
flag.
There's the classic FPS modes, of course, like that. But what if, I feel like there's so many more games they could make out of an FPS that they just don't.
Yeah,
I mean,
we
just
see
the missions aspect. I mean,
it's-
there's so
yeah,
many missions that you
it's
could.
a first-person shooter is putting itself in a very narrow category to begin with. You are a first-person shooting game, so there's not, you can add like Titanfall added a bit of platforming with the
Yeah,
jumping around, and it's
parkour.
like how crazy can you get,
Yeah.
but still stay true to a formula. But I'm really looking for them to go balls out and do something that we haven't seen, and to be shocked by it.
Yeah.
Really, because for me, as somebody who just kind of goes, at most of
Yeah.
these, I want something that will wow me because that'll bring me back in. Because I'm open to playing Call of Duty more often because it's like, if they do a good story and Kevin Spacey's amazing in it, I'll play it because I'll watch anything with Kevin Spacey in it.
I think he's going to do a great job.
Yeah.
I think with this new, I mean, just the fact that they have 3 different development teams working on the game, it ensures that they have a different game every time, and that this constant complaint from the community saying, "Oh, well, you guys are really not a game. You guys do the same thing every year. You change up the weapons, you change up the maps, and that's it." But I think they have a time to really kind of capitalize
Breathe.
on it. Yeah,
Like,
maybe.
they got so much time to
But
breathe.
think about it. Who does that? Do you know any company that does that?
Well, I was thinking, when you said that Star Wars, the new Star Wars model is going to be kind of like that.
But
Now,
we
that's
don't
kinda-
know
That's sort
much
of
about
frightening,
it.
though.
We don't have a lot of facts in that area,
But
so
think
we
it-
need to stray away from
Well,
assuming what Disney is going to do with the game.
But they have confirmed, not games, I'm talking movies, they are going to put out a Star Wars movie every year. They avowed that.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
But I mean, they're not going
But
to.
that doesn't. But that doesn't mean, because there is the Lucasfilm aspect of making Star Wars film. Then there is also Pixar is now going to be making films, and then there's also going to be. There's already confirmed Zack Snyder's going to be doing a Jedi film, and it's like
all based off of the Star Wars thing.
Yeah.
all
Well,
based off of Star Wars.
Pull this back into video games, and you go Guitar Hero. The last
Oh,
time,
yeah. Oh, my God.
like they were going fine, and then they all of a sudden had so many games that nobody wanted to buy every
Yeah.
game. They were like, "What's new about
just
it?"
fell off
and that's
completely.
it. So let's finish this off. One sentence. What will it take for you to buy Call of Duty Advanced Warfare? Frank, go.
For me to buy it, it's got to be the scale and some originality brought to it, because that's what I need to be able to be like, wow, at a Call of Duty title again.
All right.
And I'm not to cut off. I just feel like they do that.
I feel like they do.
They do that.
But I didn't feel like, because
It's like
I
they
played
bring some-
I played Black Ops 1, and I liked the story, but again, it wasn't a great story, because every time the drama was only, but somebody died.
But what are you expecting from a video game?
Oh,
I know. What I'm saying is draw some other drama.
I think
That's
maybe
all.
what I would like to see more or less in the next Call of Duty title is, I feel like they spent so much time in the loadout screens. Like when you're actually playing the campaign modes, them telling the story of the game. Like, do you know how? I mean, if you remember Tomb Raider, when Tomb Raider did it very well, like it felt like you were playing the story as it was happening. You didn't have a load screen while they were describing the story.
Yeah.
So I
Like, welcome to the cutscene.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel like Tomb Raider did that really well, and if Call of Duty can capitalize that and make it kind of part of the game, and not like something that, okay, well, just beat that mission. Now it's time for me to
Now
kind of.
I wait. For
Yeah,
the
no,
next one.
I feel like that's one thing that I would like, something different. Maybe more of a, I wouldn't say co-op multiplayer, but a mass multiplayer mission objective based type of thing where you're playing in this. You know what I mean? I guess it's a whole new game mode essentially.
Yeah, some awesome like big style MMO PVE would be
Wow,
pretty
that
fun.
would be insane.
Like-
I would love that. But that's
that
what
would
they
be
tried to go
amazing.
with Battlefield 4, and it crashed. Remember
Wow.
that?
Did they
Like,
really do that?
Let's
remember it was
not-
16 on 16.
Yeah.
Like that's
16
pretty
on-
massive though. It's not huge for an MMO. I'm sorry.
That's not huge for any game. Let's be
Yeah,
real.
16
16 on
on
16.
Well, now.
Battlefield used to be like 120, 128. Mag was 256 players at once.
That's ridiculous.
Then why didn't it work?
because
Mag
it's
did
because
well.
that's a whole different story.
Mag did well, right?
Mag did all right.
Yeah, it did all right. Anyways,
I mean, Dust is for me to answer that question.
Yeah.
On Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, in order for me to buy it, it would really have to be sold that this story is longer than a 6-hour experience. I want something that is actually
it's a movie.
that is. I don't. A 6-hour experience may be comparable to a movie, but I'd rather. I want a game that my $60 gets my money out of it. So
Yeah.
if they do a good single player mode, I'll totally buy it and I'll play your multiplayer mode. But if that single player mode is on point, then I will definitely buy it for that. And I think they should focus on that as their thing. And it kind of looks like they do with Troy Baker and Kevin Spacey.
I think we're getting kind of greedy as consumers, wanting a great single player and a great multiplayer mode when it's so difficult to do both. It is really tough.
Yeah.
It takes so much time into
It's a
really
completely different game.
It's a completely different game. If you're incorporating, so much time into creating this amazing single player mode, and then you have this amazing multiplayer modes. Well, of course, there's ups and downs to
Well,
it. But
if that game should get 10s out of 10s,
I
you
just
know?
think they should
Yeah.
create two different games. Maybe they release the single player mode, kind of like do what GTA did. Have an online
That
mode
was-
afterwards, maybe. I don't know.
I bought the game. They gave me that online mode too. I don't want them to pull a Titanfall and give me some
Something later on.
some cheap only multiplayer.
I just feel like it's
If I'm
tough.
paying $60, give me a full game. If they want to invest, I like
And what's a
as
full
long
game? What's the definition of What's the definition of
a full game. A
Oh,
full
no.
game is it's just
You
satisfying.
feel like you spent your entire
Yeah,
$60.
it's just
$60.
It's just
Because think about it,
satisfying.
I always think of it $60 as a day at the carnival or at Six Flags or something like that. So if you got the enjoyment of going to an
Carnival,
amusement
yeah.
Yeah,
park,
but you're not
out
playing
of
Call
it.
of Duty for only one game.
You're not
So to
playing it one
compare,
day.
the way that I see it is that it's got to be an experience that I remember more than a week down the line.
Absolutely.
It's something that you're like, if somebody asks you,
$60.
hey, what was the plot of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3?
I don't remember any of the plots of the
Exactly.
games, but you have to
Exactly.
understand,
The only
I'm
game-
playing it just to.
But the only game I remember the plot of in the Call of Duty series would be Modern Warfare.
Was it?
The
Yeah.
first one. I remember everything about it.
That's pretty. See that for a developer to hear that, they're like, wow.
Well,
I did my part.
Damn,
you
they
know?
did a good job. So as long as we see a good job on
Which
this.
company developed that one?
That was Infinity Ward, which is now known as Respawn.
Which
Okay.
is made Titanfall.
Oh, wow.
and then didn't even do the single player. But we digress.
We tried to finish up a while
Yeah,
ago.
Sorry
we
about
could, we
that.
could,
That's
we
my
could
fault.
talk forever. Thank you very much, AK Beast,
I appreciate
for
it. I
being
appreciate it.
on the Gamer Summit. Thank you very much, Frank.
Thank you.
Yep, Frank.
This was a very deep discussion.
Very
If
deep.
you want more commentary on video games as well as reviews and news, make sure you check us out at GAUstudios.com as well as our Twitter, GAU Studios, and our Facebook. Go ahead and like us on there. But that is all that we have for tonight, everyone. Game on.